Hey, what's up everyone? How y'all been? Before I go any further, I want to thank my good buddy Zeldin for allowing me to post this video on his channel. It really does mean a lot to me, buddy. Shout out to you, shout out to the Mitchell Master Warner, please check him out. Some of you guys may already recognize me by now, but for those who are new to Zeldin's channel, or for those who do not recognize me, my name is Christian Dragoon. While Zeldin does the spellcaster stuff when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh!, I normally do the dragon stuff when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! While Zeldin does Gold Paladin and stuff on it when it comes to Vanguard, I normally do Kageros and Norikamis. So when it comes to my channel, so for those of you guys who like Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragons and like Kageros and Norikamis when it comes to Card Vanguard, I'll link my channel in the description down below. My name is Christian Dragoon. Please check me out. I do a lot of awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff and a lot of Dragon Vanguard stuff, both when it comes to dragons. And now that we're that out of the way, now we can go straight to the deck profile right now, shall we? Alright, the deck right here is going to be a deck that my buddy Zeldin asked me to do. He asked me to do an update video of how my Disaster Dragon deck currently is right now at the moment. I have made a lot of changes to the deck ever since the last deck profile I've done the deck profile. For those who do watch my channel and do recognize my recent deck profile, last time I did a deck profile of my current Disaster Dragon deck, I did like a weird Mythic Ruler style of Disaster Dragon. While I will admit it did work and there was some cool stuff that went going on in the deck, there were some things I wasn't really 100% comfortable with. So I ended up going back to the way how my Disaster Dragon deck was right before I went to the regional. Except I made some few tweaks in here and there. So other than a few tweaks here and there, the deck is pretty much back the way it was before I went to the recent regional at April at Syracuse. So the deck looks pretty good right here. And with that being said, let's get a deck profile, shall we? Alright, start off with the monster lineup. Start off with the big guys. Start off with the 4 Dragon Rulers. No explanation why these guys are in here, the deck for. These guys are like really good. They're like really powerful. They're like really amazing. Tempest does some wind stuff. Blaster does fire stuff. Redux does earth stuff. Tile does water stuff. It's very amazing. And the best part about this deck right here, like every part of this deck has a dragon of that specific attribute, as same as this guy right here, at least one each. So almost everything on this deck right here works very well with the Dragon Rulers, and the Dragon Rulers are just really great to utilize with every now and then, and does some really great things every now and then. So the 4 Dragon Rulers, they're really good. But despite how good the Dragon Rulers are, they're not really the key card to the deck. Yes, they do add a little extra power to the deck. The deck that Disaster Dragon has never had before, but that doesn't really make him exactly the key card to the deck. Like, it's really everything else that you see after the Dragon Rulers that really does most of the work if you really think about it. Next, for the big guys, we have the 1 Darkest Metal Dragon. No explanation with Darkest Metal Dragon, because the Darkest Metal Dragon, I really wish it would go back from 2 to 3 to the deck, but sadly, I don't think it will happen as much as I want that to happen. One of the new additions to the deck right here that I'm now trying is a 1 copy of Light and Darkness Dragon, a real good card. I've always wanted to play Disaster Dragon again. At one point, I was playing Lad Disaster Dragon before Dragon. Every now and then you'll see Lad in my Disaster Dragon, but every now and then you'll see me take out the Lad. Every now and then I just do that every now and then. So on the last minute, I end up putting Lad back in my deck. Lad is just a very fantastic card. It makes your opponent waste up so many resources. He negates so many resources, and then when he finally just dies and goes to battle, I can just bring back something big. And then while my opponent doesn't have that many resources, all my dragons will just strike down my opponent very hard, and I just go all day dragons on my opponent. And that is all. That's really it for the big dragons. For the little dragons or medium dragons, depending. Next, we have the 3 Quackmere Dragos, a big rage card for those light and dark decks right there out there. For those who do not know what Quackmere Drago does or don't remember, Quackmere Drago is a 19 beater. It's a 19 beater, win attribute, 4-star Dragon type effect monster. During my end phase, I have to either A, reveal a Dragon type monster that's in my hand, or B, send a card called Iron Core Quackmere from my hand in the graveyard. If I do not do one or two things, Quackmere Drago automatically dies, as long as this card is facing the field. Light and dark monsters cannot be supposed to summon. Now this is very fantastic because everything in the entire main deck except for Darkest Metal Dragon are not lights and not darks. Again, the only dark or light monster you will see. Well, granted, there's Lad, but he has something that says that he can't be supposed to summon, so Lad's out of the question right here. right here. Other than Lad and Darkest Metal Dragon, they're like the only two monsters in the main deck that are not light and dark monsters. So Drago Fair coexists with the deck very well. Not only it does not get in the way of your strategies, but it gets in the way of your opponent's strategies so well. It shuts down those chaos decks. It shuts down those heavy light decks. Shuts down those heavy dark decks. It stops your opponent from being able to use those light and dark monsters they take in against you. It's very fantastic what it does. It's very great to utilize with. And the best part about this card is we have Tempest that can search it out as long as Tempest gets removed from play, or we use Tempest as a pitching effect. And we can use that new card we just recently got at Primal Origins called Diamond Core, Quackmere Diamond Core, which is a very fantastic card that will definitely help out Quackmere Drago in the near future. So 3 Dragos is still a thing. 2 Blizzard Dragons. A lot of people say that Blizzard Dragon is okay in Disaster Dragon. Now, I will say Blizzard Dragon is not the best card we've ever got in Disaster Dragon history, but it is a very well utilizable card. It's a water attribute monster, so it's searchable title. It's 4 stars, just like Drago, so it's easy to drop, and just like Drago, it's easily used for synchro summons and exceed summons. It's 18 beater, so it's very appreciative, and it has this gorgeous ability where once per turn during your main phase, you can target one monster your opponent controls, and your opponent cannot attack or switch battle positions with that targeted monster until their next turn, unless there's a card effect that says so otherwise. This is very good because it helps your opponent. It helps your opponent stop looping with certain monsters, like the hands, for example. It stalls out big monsters that you want to deal with, like Ophion, until you get to your other stuff sooner. And it's just a really great card to utilize with. And if you want to play Gundar, Dragon Ice Barrier, like I did at one point, that's definitely worth a try out. That's definitely worth doing if you want to do that. Because Gundar is like a very fantastic card right here. And thanks to this card right here, if I have Gundar back in my extra deck, Gundar would definitely become a thing again. So 2 Blizzard Dragons is definitely a good thing. And next we have the 3 Mass Dragons. Everything in main deck is all dragons, and everything in main deck is all dragons. So Mass Dragon is definitely utilizable. And all the other dragons I'm going to show you after Mass Dragon have less than 1500 attack, have 1500 or less attack, so they all become very utilizable. Thanks to Mass Dragon. Thanks to Mass Dragon, I can get to my stuff a lot sooner. I've seen some people play only 2 Mass Dragons, which I can see why. And I don't hold people against that for choosing to only play 3 reasons. Because sometimes that third Mass Dragon, you could draw into Mass Dragon when you don't want to see it, and sometimes you'll be like, oh, Mass Dragon, I already got one in the field. I kind of wish you were something else in particular. So it's really based upon player's preference. Some people like 2 Mass Dragons. I like 3 Mass Dragons because there is that occasion where my opponent will keep on attacking, and I do want that extra defensive and get to my stuff a lot sooner as possible. So the 3 Mass Dragons is always pretty good, at least to me, at least. And next we have 2 Explorer Dragons. One point, as I mentioned in my Mythic Ruler deck, I did try cutting out 1 Explorer Dragon at one point. I'll admit it was okay at the time. Like, the deck still worked without a second Explorer Dragon, but it didn't give. But the deck still lacked some anti certain monsters thanks to the second Explorer Dragon not being there. With the way how Disaster Dragon is right now, and with the way how this format is right now, we kind of do need the second Explorer Dragon to get some stuff going. We do need the Explorer Dragon to take out those monsters that Disaster Dragon can't take on, and it's definitely a good monster to pitch with a Redox. It's definitely searchable out Mass Dragon and Redox, and it's just an all-around great card to rely on when you want to do some crazy stuff with. So 2 Explorer Dragons is definitely pretty good. And next we have 1 Delta Flyer for the amazing synchro summons that you can do this guy right here. Sync him with a ruler, bring out either Leo or Star Eater. Sync him with one of level 4 guys, bring out one of the level 8 or level 7 synchros. Sync him with one of the level 3 guys for level 7. All crazy good such. Great reliable card when it comes to Disaster Dragon. Very glad this card is still in the deck right here. 1 Totem Dragon because I am playing Lad, and with Lad, I mean, true, yes. I mean, the deck can bring out Lad no problem with or without Totem Dragon. Disaster Dragon in general can definitely bring out Lad without Totem Dragon, especially right now. The reason why I like sticking with Totem because there is that occasion where I do want to save my other dragons before I go crazy with them and such. While still be able to bring out Lad. Like, I want to run into a situation where I remove some good resources to bring out Dragon Rulers, then tribute the Dragon Rulers to bring out Lad, then my opponent plays, like, I don't know, Solemn Warning, and I have no other resources after that, while by just bring out Totem, and then tribute to Lad, and if my opponent would just Solemn Warning the Lad then, I can still bring out the Dragon Rulers and still do some crazy things, so even if I lose Lad, I'll still have some resources, and that's mostly why the Totem Dragon is here for. Plus, he's good with. Plus, he combos off with Redox very well, so Totem is very good. And then one Debris Dragon. Just also in my previous video when I did the Mythic Disaster Dragon, as I said before, it was okay. I mean, the deck worked just fine. The deck that I had before this deck right here with Disaster Dragon worked really good without the Debris Dragon. But there were some times that I really did miss Debris Dragon, and there were some occasions where I did wish I had Debris Dragon for a quick rank 4 Exceed summon, or a quick level 7 Synchro summon for any such, especially back when I used to tech in Komodo Dragon. So Debris Dragon, I'm very glad he's back in the deck right here. I'm probably not going to take out Debris Dragon again for a while unless the ban list says so otherwise. So Debris Dragon is definitely staying here for a long time, so Debris Dragon is definitely good. And then one Flamboyant Guard. This is the one thing I am gonna stick with even despite what I was doing with Mythic Disaster Dragon. Like I took out the second. Yeah, I took out the. Just like how I took out Komodo Dragon for Totem Dragon, I took out the sec. Yeah, I do apologize about that. Apparently, people don't know how not to be rude. Alright, anywho, same thing why I took out the second Totem Dragon. Same reason why I took out the Komodo for Totem Dragon. I took out the second Flamboyant Guard for the Lad because Flamboyant Guard, you really only need one Flamboyant Guard. You see one Flamboyant Guard just fine, thanks to Blaster and Master and all that crazy such. Plus with Dragon Shrine and all that good such. So you really only need one Flamboyant Guard at a time for this deck right here. Flamboyant Guard is definitely pretty good because he's a level 1 tuner monster with 2,000 defense points, so that's always pretty good. As I said, he's searchable on Master Dragon and he's searchable on Blaster, which is always pretty good. And he combos out with Dragon Shrine very well, very fantastic. So Disaster. So Flamboyant Guard is definitely pretty good. Maybe someday in the future I might take this card back to 2, but it's really based upon what I figure out with this deck right here, and what's going on with the rest of this format right here. But for now, one Flamboyant Guard is just fine for now. So one Flamboyant Guard is pretty good. And I say for the monster lineup, for the spell lineup, I do this. I play only 2 Dragon Shrines. Now, a lot of people normally play 3 Dragon Shrines, which is actually something that I agree with and I do understand. Now, the reason why I'm only playing 2 instead of 3 Dragon Shrine for 2 reasons. One, I want to make save room for a certain card that I'm going to try to get in this deck pretty soon that we just recently got so far, and I can't wait for this card to come. So that's why I end up coming out the third Dragon Shrine for. And the second reason why is because every now and then, whenever I play Disaster Dragon, I don't often need the third Dragon Shrine like I normally want to do. So every now and then so by the time I get to the third Dragon Shrine, I'll already have most of my dragons already engraved by then when I get my stuff rolling and such. So the third Dragon Shrine may not be needed that much. But at the same time, there is that possibility where I do want to draw into that Dragon Shrine in case something comes up, and in case I'm not getting my stuff engraved fast enough. So after I play out this deck a little bit more, and after I take this deck to my locals again, I will see if this deck I will possibly have the third Dragon Shrine in the deck already. Next we have the 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. MST is pretty much MST. No explanation needed there. Only 2 and still 3 because same reason as a Dragon Shrine. I'm trying to make some room for a certain card I'm trying to put in very soon. This deck coming up very shortly. So only 2 MSTs very shortly. But just like Dragon Shrine, I am going to work out some things where I do end up putting the third MST back in. So after I work out some things pretty soon, but if I don't ever find room for the third MST, it's at the end of the world. Worst case scenario, I'll just leave the third MST in the side deck for whenever I come against those back row decks. And here's the card I've been talking about. since Primal Origins is now a thing, I definitely want to play 2 copies of Quakimeru Diamond Core. Quakimeru Diamond Core is a very fantastic spell card. For those who do not know, it's a normal spell card. It allows you to add any monster from your deck to your hand that has the word Quakimeru, and during the turn, and you can remove this card from play during either player's turn. And when you choose to do that, your Quakimeru monster is immune of destruction. So this is very good to not only rota out a Quakimeru Drago, so you can take care of those light and dark decks, but it also protects your Drago for when those light and dark decks like to destroy your Quakimeru Drago for whenever something like that comes up. So 2 Quakimeru Diamond Cores is pretty good right now. Definitely like this card. Can't wait to get my hands on him. Next we have, I'm still playing the 2 DDRs. DDR is pretty good with me right now because there is a lot of removal I do with this deck well, there is quite a bit of removal I do with this deck every now and then. So the DDR helps me get back either a Dragon Ruler, a Dark Dragon, well, not like Dark Dragon, pardon me, a Rise Charged Metal Dragon, and a certain good staple standard dragon that I haven't had removed from play, like Drago, Mash Dragon, all that typical good such, and I want to do a quick summon, all that crazy good such. So 2 DDR is pretty good, helps me get my resources back, and it's really great and reliable when all that crazy stuff goes down. And everything else is just standard basic stuff, Book of Moon, Burial, Sacred Swords, and Gold Sarcophagus. They're all just basic stuff when it comes to Dragon Ruler, pardon me, Disaster Dragon, wow. Well, not just Dragon Rulers, but they're just all basic stuff when it comes to Disaster Dragon, I apologize. And as for the trap lineup, we have 2 Dragon Connections. Dragon Connection's pretty good because it's just like DDR. It allows me to bring back a remove from play dragon, but the dragon does not get special summon. It just goes in my hand instead. But at least it's free. There's no cost to do it unlike DDR. Dragon Connection's pretty good because it's definitely good to bail my opponent's MSTs. It allows me to get one of my remove from play dragons, so I can continue on, go on with my usual dragon plays from there. Next we have is the 2 skill drains. Some people don't like skill drain, which I can understand why. I like skill drain because it stops my dragon rulers from going back to my hand, so I can keep them on board and keep on beating up stuff. It stops my opponent from going all of certain effects like Marshmallow and all that crazy stuff that I don't like to deal with. It's a good anti-Ophion, which is one of my favorite things about this deck right here. And most of my dragons, not just the Dragon Rulers, don't really have effects where they need field presence in order to go off with their stuff, except for Dark Metal Dragon and Quakimeru Drago. And by the time you get a skill drain on board, it just really wrecks your opponent, makes your opponent cry all day. It's just a really good card to rely on. Really good card to help against those certain decks and such. Only 2 skill drains because only 2 is all I really need. I don't need to go crazy to play 3. If I ever do need the third skill drain, it'll just be in my side deck, worst case scenario. Next we have, for stable stuff, everything else is stable stuff. 2 Phoenix Wind Blasts, 1 Bottomless, 1 Convulse, and 1 Turtle Tribute. No explanation why these 2 cards are on the deck. And that is it for the main deck right here. For the extra deck, and the reason why I don't play Soul Charge is because I'm not really a fan of Soul Charge. I don't really want to jump on the whole Soul Charge bandwagon. If people want to do that, that's fine. I do not hold that against anyone right here. I just don't feel like being that kind of person where I want to auto win and all that crazy good such. Not that Soul Charge auto wins, and I apologize if I offend people who play Soul Charge of saying this. It's just Soul Charge to me. It's just something I don't want to mess around with. It's just something that just way too OP in my opinion. Alright, so for the extra deck, we have is for the Synchros. We have 1 Star Eater, new Leo, 1 Leo. I'm trying out Leo. So far, Leo seems to be pretty good right here. Sync Devil Flyer with 1 Rulers, and I could get Leo on the board, or Sync Devil Flyer with a level 3 guy and a level 4 guy for Leo and all that crazy good such. Leo's pretty good. It helps me retain field presence, and when Leo dies, I can just remove and play for Redux, which is always pretty good. Then 1 Stardust, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Crimson Blader. Some people like to play Colossal Fighter over Crimson Blader, which I can see why. I do agree with that idea. It's probably a better idea than Crimson Blader. The reason why I like Crimson Blader over Colossal Fighter is because 1, I could have Quakimeru Drago on the field, so I may not be able to bring on Colossal Fighter as much. And 2, unlike Colossal Fighter, if Blader dies, I can always just move Blader from play for Blaster, so I can stick with what I'm usually doing best. best, so Blader's definitely pretty good, and I love the fact that he can stop my opponent from dropping level 5 or higher guys, so which is always pretty good. Next we have Black Rose, Ancient Fairy Dragon, and that's it for Synchros. For Xyz monsters, I don't have Big Eye or Dragosack yet, so this is how my extra deck is going to look. Rest of my extra deck is going to look like until I pick up Big Eye and Dragosack. I have one guy, the Thunder Charger, just a good tech dragon to have when I want to go for that piercing damage, especially for game. One tech of Master Blade, because Master Blade's pretty good. Every time it gets targeted, I can just detach a card, they keep the targeting, and destroy the card, then destroy one other card in the field, which is always pretty good. And good thing about this guy is that when he dies, I can just remove him and play for Redox, so I don't have to waste my resources, which is pretty good. Same thing with this guy. One guy got a Cowboy. Good for that game-winning moment or that certain game-changing moment. One Heartland Drago for the occasion of what he does best, and if I want to go for a Rise Charger Metal Drago for my hand, but I have Quackmere Drago, I can just overlay the Drago with another level 4 guy, bring out this guy, and then move Heartland Drago from play, bring out Darkest Metal Dragon, and then it's just all day spam dragons. One Queen Dragoon Jin, one Wind-Up Zen Mains, one Levier, and one Leviathan Dragon. Now, a lot of people seem to not like Leviathan Dragon, which I can highly understand why, because, let's face it, Leviathan Dragon is not really as good as he once was when he was first a thing. Now, the reason why I like Leviathan Dragon is because now, in case if I want to bring out, is one of the same reasons why I have Heartland Drago besides of his awesome effect. There could be that occasion where I have a Mass Dragon and Explode Dragon both on the board, but I don't want to remove them from play to bring out the Darkest Metal Dragon. So when that comes up, I'll just overlay the Explode Dragon and Mass Dragon together for this guy right here, and then I'll remove Leviathan Dragon for play, bring out Darkest Metal Dragon, still be able to reserve my usual dragon plays without going off and wasting my dragon resources. There's all that good stuff. So that right there was my Disaster Dragon deck profile. It's kind of back the way it was before I went to the recent regional, but at the same time, it has some difference here and there. I'm really glad how the deck looks like right now. Definitely looks a lot better than the Mythic Ruler style. I'll definitely say that. And with that being said, thank you all for watching my video. Shout out to the Magician Master 100, aka my buddy Zeldin, for letting me post this video on his channel. I'll also be posting another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile and a Cardfight Vanguard deck profile on a channel that he and I share called the Trading Card Bros, also known as Music One Master 100. Please check that channel out, and I'll also leave that in the link description down below. Please check out those channels out. Please check out my buddy Thinking. Please check out those channels. It would really mean a lot to me. Thank you again for Zeldin for allowing me to do this on your channel. And I'll see y'all around. Please comment, rate, subscribe. I'll see y'all around. And peace.